I'm Marcus Lane, and this is 3 Minutes or Less. So I recently became aware of a rising epidemic in our country. And I'm not talking about COVID-19 or some other virus looming in the background, but what I'm talking about is the epidemic of noise. Already, roughly half of Americans are exposed to noise levels beyond the recommended amounts, and experts suggest that our level of noise pollution in the country doubles or triples every 30 years. Now, maybe you hear that and you're like, big deal. Are we really going to freak out about a little bit of ambient noise? But in a 2019 Atlantic article, Bianca Bosker observed that experts say overexposure to noise increases one's risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, heart attack, strokes, diabetes, dementia, and depression. It also negatively impacts children, both physically as well as behaviorally and cognitively, and it's also been shown to make us more aggressive and angry. So is it any wonder that many of us feel on edge, stressed, and anxious most of the time? You could add to that the constant noise of cell phone notifications and the ever-present news media cycle that's demanding our attention. See, my point is this, is our world is filled with noise. And it's easy to romanticize simpler and quieter times, but the reality is there has always been noise demanding our attention and shaping our self-perception. You know, it's for this exact reason that we see a particular rhythm develop in the life of Jesus. Luke chapter 5 tells us that as Jesus' fame started to grow, as crowds started to follow him, constantly vying for his attention and demanding that he would do miracles, Jesus would regularly withdraw to desolate, quiet places. You see, what Jesus does is he reflects a spiritual practice that is a great gift to us in a world full of noise. Jesus regularly withdraws from the world to rest in the Father's presence. But the reality is he doesn't stay there. As he would withdraw to rest, but then he would return to the noise to be a minister of God's peace and his presence among it. You see, friends, this is exactly what we are invited into as God's people. By God's grace, we are invited to withdraw into his presence, to hear from his word, to rest our identities in what God has said about us rather than what the noise of this world says about us, as we withdraw and distance ourselves from all of the noise. But just like Jesus, we don't stay withdrawn. We are called to be a people who return to the world, to be a different kind of voice in the midst of the noise, to be voices of God's presence, his love, his mercy, his grace that he has poured out for the world in the Word made flesh, whose name is Jesus.